It's been a busy day. We had, so I did, after my phone died earlier, I did finish up getting all this stuff done. We just got back from taking Angel's dad out for supper tonight. And right before we left, like literally right before we left, our shipment showed up. And so now we're going to go out and shoot, or we're going to go film in the morning. So got the Hustle Rip and the Hustle M&M. And so hopefully, I don't know why this isn't working. Boom pow. Is this public? I don't know. What's up, Steve? Thanks for hanging out. We'll hang out and have a party.
Say it defaults to public.
Yeah. I'm just boring, I guess. All right. So, I'm gonna pop open a special can here, thanks to Jess N, for the fruited sour ale with peach and Sauvignon Blanc grapes, Bellini from Trim Tab Brewing in Alabama. I had one of these a few days ago and it was fantastic, so I'm gonna pop this open to have with the stream. First things first, I am going to go on ahead and get these going on the resurfacing machine so that I can get the surfaces reset. I am going to polish them back up, but they need a little TLC first. So, but I can get all my other stuff prepped while they're going. I can't do the rip for too long because it's small. Can show some things off and talk about some other things. Are those the new hustles in your thumbnail? Oh yeah. Oh, Curtis L got a Wild Streak tour today. That's freaking sweet. Yes, these are the new hustles, the rip and the M&M. Thanks everybody for joining in. We did have a stream earlier if you want to check that out. It wasn't terribly interesting, but we talked about a bunch of things. And then again, I said earlier, once my phone died, I finished up all the stuff that I was doing. So here's today's haul for everything. I still need to pop that ring finger out of the Summit and buzz that out. But I'm going to go on ahead and drill up the new hustles and then show everybody my new little finger technique for getting the fingers in there. That should be better. Also, Jess N, if you happen to be watching, drinking one of the Bellinis.
Is that the sour one?
Yeah, but this has got the peach and Sauvignon grapes, so it kind of tastes sour and a little bit winey. It tastes like wine. It's almost like carbonated wine.
Oh, I'm not sure.
It's grapes.
Nope. Nope. Oh. Oh God.
It's amazing. What you're talking about.
Oh no.
Here, while I'm thinking about it.
Oh my God. Yes.
Tanner's keys.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm gonna go pop these on the resurfacing machine and get them reset here. Like I said, the Hustle Rip is a little small. I don't know why they keep sending these to me, but we've gotten like 4 of them. So your UC3 was too small. Mm-hmm. My High Road Pearl that I compared to the Night Road was too small.
TNT.
Your TNT. Oh, my TNT was too small.
And now
the Rip. So this is a quarter scale, should fit. Okay. So if you look at this quarter scale, because it's literally a quarter size of the ball, put this quarter scale on there, it should, fit. Put it on this one.
Well, you can see the gap as you're moving it.
Yeah, so if I hold it like this, you can see the gap there. Now, if I do the same thing on this ball,
No gap.
there's no gap there. So this is a couple, and normally whenever we see a ball that's 15-0, we always know it's going to be too small. So now, interesting thing, I don't think it's illegally too small. There is a minimum and maximum size. However, if they're a little too small, they actually carry better. Fun fact.
I learned that from Russ Wilson, actually.
Yep, they actually carry better. So, slightly annoying. Hashtag quality control. But it'll be fine. So, I'm going to go ahead and take this one down. And they look slick. This one's a really deep purple. She hates purple. But this is not obnoxiously purple.
For you.
I've seen it compared to the ink, so we'll find out tomorrow. And then this one's pretty, I can't remember which ball this looks like. We've had one that's been kind of this color. It was also a lower end ball, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe I'm thinking of the pink idol that there was an idol.
Yeah, but I don't think that's. I think there was one that's just like that, the two colors
Yeah.
like that.
But yeah, this is.
Somebody will remember, because they probably have
Yeah.
one. I
So.
want to say it's like an older one, like Reckham sorta or Loco sorta, like the older.
Yeah, might have been. Well, the Loco Pearl was not this color, but it was close.
I'm just thinking that time frame, I guess.
See, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna knock the turtle wax off this ball and. And then we will pretty them back up. So I can move some of this stuff, I guess.
Yeah, get room over here on this table if you wanna.
Yeah.
If you're done.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this grip out of the Summit and fix that while I'm looking at it.
Well, and actually, any that you're done, I can take it downstairs.
Yeah.
It's ready for the next time you want it.
Mm-hmm. So both of these are going to get my 4x2 layout because the RG is 253, so it's in the middle, and the diff is 030, which is really close to IQ Tour. And so I like going with the stronger pin, the stronger layout, because it drops the RG just a little bit and it ups that diff into separation of the flare rings a little bit. So I like cores like this because you can go big on the layout, make them stronger, more continuous, without making them like crazy. That just brings them up to kind of like a hyped kind of range, or a little bit beefier IQ type of deal. So once again, I do want to show these off.
Oh, I meant to put that link in the. I'll have to add that. Because I want it actually in the description after it goes.
Yeah, but these Scarred Prints does these, the ball cups, and then these are really helpful for laying stuff out. And these are nice and heavy duty, and they're strong while they're pretty light.
This doesn't show on camera.
Let me grab that one. So yeah, and he's got all kinds of different colors. It's SKARD. You can find him on Facebook.
James is in there now. He can drop
Okay.
it again.
Yep.
It's on Squarespace.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, whatever, you can,
Nearly
whatever,
indestructible.
they're fine. So yeah, and this is pretty heavy duty, and these are really nice. So good stuff. I've converted everything to these. So give them a look.
An extremely reasonable price. Like I don't.
Yeah.
He's doing some special edition sort of colors. So once he's going to buy whatever he gets in that color, makes them, and then that's it. It's just going to be that run. He had a Father's Day sale going on that I think expires tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe Monday. But the cups going off of memory now, I think are only like,
It's 5 for 25 or something, or
yeah, I think the stable ones were only like $10 or something, and then I think the spinners were like 25.
All right, so I've got a new technique for my. I've got a new technique for my fingers that I'm gonna use on the new balls. I do need to, that's why I'm popping this grip out so that I got this grip was a little small. So I've had this technique for my fingers where I use grips that are too small because it drives me nuts when if the grip actually fits, then it fits fine at the knuckle, but it doesn't fit so well down here. The tip is kind of swimming a little bit. And so what I do is I use smaller grips, and then I really, really buzz out the top of the hole so it's more form-fitting, so it fits both at the knuckle, then down at the bottom. But it's a little hard to replicate because it's all by feel, basically. And sometimes I'll try to compare it to other balls that generally fit most of the time, but also doing that gives me a little bit of flexibility.
Well, and it doesn't really help on the days that you're either more swollen or
Yeah, some
so
days,
swollen.
or when we go to tournaments and I eat way too much and then or have way too much salt and my hand puffs up, and but this can end up leading to not quite getting the fingers buzzed out far enough or buzzing them out too far. I'd rather have them, too tight than swimming in them. But also the issue with doing this is it adds a little bit of extra reverse because, again, I'm funneling the top of the hole out, and so it does add extra reverse that I don't necessarily want in there. And so in combination with dropping, I dropped a 16th off my span just to be able to get out of it a little bit cleaner. I am changing the way that I put my grips in. And the way that I'm still going to get the same effect as this, but without all the beveling and something that's going to be a whole lot quicker, a whole lot easier to replicate, what I'm going to do is, so the 31/32 bit is what you use to drill the fingers with. So I'm going to drop a bit size, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the 31/32 until I get right under the cover stock, and then I'm going to drop a bit size and drill the rest of the hole. And so what that's going to do is that's going to constrict the bottom of the grip a little bit. It's going to leave the top about the right size, and then instead of doing so much excess bevel, I went up a half size in grips, so I'm not going to have to funnel the top of it near as much. I'm going to get the same effect, but it's going to be a lot easier to do and repeat, and then I won't have to worry about, again, adding all the other thing that's going to help is when I really waller these out like this, whenever I go to plug finger, like if I'm done with the ball and I'm going to plug it and send it off to somebody else, it really sucks to have to drill all this bevel out just to get the ball plugged and move on. Now you still do need a fair amount of bevel because that helps prevent cracking greatly. So it is very highly recommended to still put a decent amount of bevel on there, but I go to town just because that's how I've been doing my grips. But loud noises. Why is this like this? Cord nonsense. All right.
Yeah, y'all got caught. Yeah, honey, you all got caught.
Yeah, it's still a little tight.
Come on.
Alright, should be good now. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. It's almost even a little too big now. That's the other problem is sometimes you can get it going and like, okay, that feels good, and then you glue them in and it's like, well, that's still a little tight, and then you take it out and you buzz a little bit more and then all of a sudden it's too big. It's just, even if you're good at doing this, it's a little too inconsistent to mess with. I'd rather do it there's all kinds of tricks if you sit and think about something long enough. Once again, you only really need a couple drops of glue. So and you always want to glue underneath the cover stock, because that's another thing. If you ever had the spider cracking, if it's not like the ball doesn't like crack all the way, if you've ever had the spider cracking just kind of around the grips, that's from glue in the cover stock or from too much glue used when gluing in grips. And that's the other thing is the little extra tip extender here. It's called a flexi tip. And so the glue bottles will glue themselves shut eventually, and so you just got to keep clipping and clipping and clipping, or using a pin or something to, you know, make the hole back in the tip of the glue bottle. These flexi tips cost nothing. They don't cost nothing, literally nothing. They're very cheap, but you can just keep clipping, and then put a new one on there, and you never affect the tip of the actual glue bottle. Plus, it also helps get down there further and control the amount of glue that you get in there too. So I can get all the way down in there, put the glue exactly where I want it, control the amount that I use, and Slow Zip gives you, I really like this glue because most stuff, the Vice stuff locks up instantly. You get Gorilla Glue or Crazy Glue or any kind of model glue or whatever, the stuff just locks up instantly. This will give you a few seconds to get it where you want it, and then you're good to go. All right, I think it's about time to go. Oh, yep, it just shut off. My turkey timer went off. So I'm gonna go down here and take the M&M off, and we'll get the rip on the machine. And once again, I know I bag on React-A-Gloss and rip on it all the time, but it really is the best thing to do. One of the, whether it's this or some other surface or whatever else, really the best thing to do is to reset the surface whenever you get a new ball, because it's either the hard shine of the factory, because they really gloss these things up. They really make them shiny to make them look pretty on the wall in the pro shop. That's not great for ball reaction. So regardless of what polish they're using, it's the best policy to always just reset the covers. It helps break them in a little bit faster. It helps to dial them in for what you want on them. It's just a good thing to do. Highly recommended. And glue this other side down, then we'll get to finish the M&M up. Magenta and Midnight, I think is what it says on the box.
Yes, you are correct.
Fun fact, I've said this before, but the hustles were originally going to be named the Freestyles, and you can actually even find an old Bowler's Journal magazine that had an ad for them in there as the Freestyles, but literally at the same time, Motive had just come out with their own low-end balls called the Freestyles, so they had to change the name, and they changed it to Hustle. The rest is history. And the Hustles have been around a lot longer than the Freestyles. So it's a good thing we didn't pick that name. Plus, I think it ended up working out better anyway. The whole Hustle idea fits the Roto Grip brand kind of identity a little better. So I think all in all, it ended up being a win for us. And this is all the glue that I'm going to need. It's down underneath the cover stock, so I've never had any problems with cracking around the fingers or balls cracking, period, or anything. And grips never come out on me. So, I mean, I've had the Cosmos for a year. This is the same set of grips that I put in it to begin with. The grips are fine. They're anchored in pretty good. Plus, if you do them, again, under the cover stock, it gives you flexibility up here so they're not like stretching the grip all out and making it hard and inflexible and uncomfortable. So, bang. So, let me put a piece of tape back in the old Summit. Don't even need to use a tool. Got it in there perfect. All right. So we are going to move on to, once again, I was saying this earlier for those that remember the stream earlier. I use the Jayhawk Diamond Dust pads. And this is 1,000 grit. You can see, obviously, it's very dull, but it's not all scratched up. You know, it's a very high quality, smooth surface. It's a lot more consistent. Because most of the time, if you take 1,000 grit pad of Abralon, True Cut, whatever else, you're going to see a bunch of deep scratches. And while 1,000 grit is, you know, dull enough that you're going to see some lines, there's a difference between deep cut scratches and like a smooth workable surface. This is going to make the polish, the finished product, look a whole lot better when I get done with it, instead of looking like Hustle. Nope, I'm not yet. I'm getting ready to. But I really, really like these Diamond Dust pads because they come out looking so much better. So I'm going to go on ahead and I am going to put step 2 on this. I'm not going to super shine it, but I am going to put some of the sauce on it. Check the comments here real quick. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me. Yeah, why would a smaller ball carry better? It actually hits the pins a little bit lower.
Yeah, it has to do with something about the core's positioning. Like if it's a normal size, it's
yeah, it makes the overall center of the ball a little higher. And I guess if you get the center of the ball a little bit lower on the pins, it puts it in a better place to send them side to side, or you know, something like that. It's interesting. I'd have to get back into the
I just remember the little tidbits that I heard Russ trying to explain it to you.
Yeah.
So.
What are the theories about ovals versus lifts? Why should anyone use ovals? It's really, why should anybody use lifts? All lifts do is simulate an extra eighth forward. So just drill your pitch into the ball and then use the ovals because they fit better. Lifts, put your hand out of position, they add extra forward, which nobody really needs unless you've got super weak hands or some kind of weird fit. Nobody needs forward actually in a bowling ball. And lifts are another one of those gimmicky things that were that were sold to, they're called power lifts. So they're sold as, well, we're going to increase your rev rate, and they're going to increase your rev rate, help you get more lift on it. It's like, well, I mean, you can just go on ahead and drill an extra eighth forward into the ball, so I don't understand. It's just another marketing gimmick thing. Yeah, so I do my fingers like a semi vacuum grip, but I don't like the vacuums because they move around. My hand just moves around all over the place. I don't have any sense of solidarity in the finger grips. It just feels too mushy. I can't catch it at the bottom. It's just, I hate them. So yeah, I do create my own kind of semi-vacuum grip type of deal. So anyway, get to the rat killing on this thing.
Does that need to come off of it, speaking of that?
I just put it down. I just put it down there. I just got this one off.
Well, I know, you said you weren't going to leave it on there very long, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I got a floor pedal for the vacuum cleaner as a game changer. Yeah, I'm not too far off of doing something like that. Get my step 2 out. Yeah, can you move a few of these?
That's what I was waiting on. I just wasn't sure which ones you wanted.
Yeah, you can just take them down and start putting them back in the bags.
Is there any that you want left?
I'm going to leave my Volt up here for...
Stays and everything else can go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, because, yeah, the grips fit pretty good on this one, so
Alright.
everything else can go. So, not a ton. Use the water bottle spritzer to add the moisture so I don't have to keep dumping. I used to just keep adding polish because it eventually gets a little dry here, but it's as soon as somebody gave me this tip, you really don't need that much polish. What you need is the moisture, but you don't need to keep adding polish to get the moisture. Alright. So flip it over. Add a little bit more polish for the other side. And the Diamond Dust pads create such a smooth, consistent surface that it ends up, you can see how fast this is polishing up. How dull it was when we started. So it really doesn't take a whole lot of time. It doesn't take a whole lot of elbow grease. Ow, that hurt. And now I'm not going to add any more. I'm not going to add any more polish. I'm just going to keep using water and blending everything out, and that's going to polish it just a little bit more.
stealing the camera. Those things stack so well.
Yeah, they're freaking cool. All right, so ending process is I've got a nice shine back on there, but again, it's not a super hard polish. You can see it's more of like a shiny kind of sheen. So again, I get the polish back on there, but it's not such a hard shell on top that it's going to be, you know, crazy.
It just stopped.
Okay, yeah, I heard it. So it's not going to be crazy long and flippy or inconsistent or whatever else. So, all right. I'm going to go get the other one real quick and bring it up, and then we'll get that one finished, and we'll be ready to put some holes in them.
Don't forget your towel.
Yep, I got it. Yeah, the rip really looks like just a purple ink, pretty much. And for all the reaction I've seen, it's kind of, well, it's the camo was really close to the ink to begin with, and these two balls are just different colors of the wine and the camo. Same core, same cover, whatever else. So it is kind of a sweet look. And again, I mean, this is dull. So I mean, the 1000 grit pads are definitely getting the work done, but you can see how nice and smooth this surface is. You're obviously going to see some line, because I mean, 1000 grit's chunky, but it's not all cut up and scraped up like you see from Aberlon pads or True Cuts or whatever else. Much more high quality surface. Let's see here. Looking forward to drilling my rip in a couple days. Camo at 4x2, which can rev up a little too quick at times, so gonna go 5x2 on the rip. I'd be a little careful with that because again, it's got that differential is 0.30. So once you get to 5 inches, you're gonna have very little separation on your flare rings. That's the only thing that concerns me about like the IQs and the hustles, is that you gotta watch the layout strength simply because of the differential. Hey, get off. You dirtbag. Whoops. What? You say woof? I know, you're a woof. Back to the bowling balls. All right. So, same process. I know. Talk to mama. Is that what you want to go outside? Is that it? It's kind of instructed to go longer pins to get the ball to go more forward. Yeah, longer pins do make the ball want to lose axis rotation faster, and so it will reduce the flare. Shut the hell up. What are you doing? What are you talking about? I'm busy, sir. So yeah, they do go a little bit more forward with longer pins, and it also reduces the flare. It's just on something with an 0.30 diff. That kind of gets into the danger zone for me. I like a little bit more flare than that. Now I did go with a 5-inch pin on the Summit, but it's got such a monster core that it actually worked out really well. And it managed to somehow still be continuous. That was the only thing, is I didn't want it to dig in at my toes. But I was worried that 5 inches was going to start being a little too forward, but it's actually remarkably, what? It's actually remarkably continuous at 5 inches. It's like polishing a boot, yeah. So exactly what to do with Sims without drill angle mattering is where I'm a bit stuck. Oh, yeah, the drill... I know, Bucko. Thank you, sir. I know. Go away. Off. Bad. So, anyway, all right. Let me get to... Gotta get to moving here. Once again, just a little bit of water to lube the thing up. This isn't really going to take that long because, again, I'm not dealing with a whole bunch of deep scratches and whatever else to get this ball up from. When you start with such a high quality surface to begin with, it makes every step after that really easy. And no, I don't get commission or anything for saying it. I just really, really like the pads. I mean, I'm kind of the, you know, I really rail on stuff that I hate, but I really, really go nuts for stuff that I like. So, big, big fan. There we go. A little bit more of the sauce. And again, this really only takes 20-30 seconds aside, and I'm just kind of going for that, and I'm really more, this is a little bit more touch base, so I'm going for shiny, but with that sheen. More of a not quite polished finish, and a little bit more of a sheen. So then just going to flip it around to smooth it out. So get those. The only thing about a spinner is you can get lines going in certain directions, and it's also kind of interesting to think about too. Some people will, if you put a ball on a spinner and you add surface with the grain going with the track, it will react a little differently than if you have the grain going against the track. So I'll show you what I mean here in a minute if that's confusing at all. But when you have a spinner, you're going to get lines going this way. And so if you align your track with the direction the lines are going, then you can get a different reaction than if your track is like this and have the grain of the surface going against the track. So again, I'm not really trying to polish here, I'm just trying to blend out all these lines. And, you know, this is going to be totally screwed up in a couple games anyway. Surface changes a whole lot quicker than you think it does. So just like the M&M, we have got this nice kind of shiny sheen thing going on. So kapow. I'm going ahead and get some lines on them here. I make everybody sick bouncing the camera around. Of course, we have a charger with a paw on it. these rolly wheels are really helpful for laying out a ball too. Once again, for those that weren't on the stream earlier, a new tip that was given to me was to get a mechanical grease pencil, because the bowling grease pencils that are just like the ones that you have the pencil sharpener for, those are terrible. The grease, the grease just crumbles all the time when you're trying to sharpen them. These are a whole lot sturdier. This is what they use for welding. It's just a whole lot sturdier and works out a whole lot better. So again, I'm going 4x2, and instead of laying everything out on the ball, I cheat. So my volt is also 4x2. So what I do is the pin is, it's 1.25 inches from my grip center line, and then the center of the pin is 1 7/8 from the bottom of the grip holes, or 1 7/8 or 1 7/8 down. So what I do here is I go 1.25 inches with my handy dandy little arc ruler. Because the CG doesn't matter on symmetric balls, I try to just get the CG out of the way. I tuck my pinky, and it's really, really obnoxious for when the CG lands right on my pinky. These are a little bit short CGs, so I want to make sure that my fingers are going to be over here somewhere, so I want to make sure that the CG is away from where it's going to just dig into my knuckle. So, just going to go on ahead and make my center line here. And then I'm going to make a 90. And then I'm going to measure down 1 7/8, make a line. That's going to be where my fingers go. Advanced layout methods taught here. And I'm done. And so this is going to get me 4x2 layout just by measuring where the fingers are supposed to go. And because I can swing this anywhere I want to swing it, it doesn't really matter. Fingers are going to go here. Fingers going to be tucked, right in here. So got that CG out of the way. Don't have to worry about that. So we're good to go. I'm going to do the other one the same way. It's also got kind of a short CG. Well, it's not actually, that's pretty well a perfect CG. I'm not gonna, that's like you want them in the 2 to 4 range, and these are like 2.5 or 3. I mean, that's about as perfect as you can get. So I'm not gonna, it is 2 7/8. And this one is 2 3/4. I mean, you can't ask for better pins than that realistically. I prefer them to be a little bit longer when I'm doing this layout, or even a 5x2, just to get it out of the way. I prefer them more in the 3 to 4 zone. But once again, quick layout method, 1.25 inches. Make sure the CG's out of the way. What did I have? What angle did I have this one at? 50 degrees. So I'll put this one also at 50 degrees, 52 or whatever the heck it was. And again, this mechanical pencil is so much sturdier that I don't ever have to worry about the tip breaking. And it's actually a little bit thicker than the grease is in the pencils. It's not nearly as brittle, so I don't know why they can't make good bowling grease pencils. But this is infinitely superior, as is this layout method. Highly technical. I only have a 30-second difference in span lengths between my ring and middle spans, and so I just make a line straight across because the difference in grip size makes up for it accounts for the 30-second basically. So my ring finger grip's a little thicker, so it's a 30-second. I mean, it's a 30-second thicker, so that kind of takes care of it. So anyway, we're ready to put these on the press and get to work. I guess I need that later. Which one is better with or against the track? It really depends. If you go against the track, the ball is going to hook earlier and be smoother. If you go with the track, it's going to be a little bit longer. Because if you have it, so say your track's over here, if the grain of the surface is going that way, it's not going to be crossing the grain. I mean, it's like cutting steak or cutting chicken. Like if you go to cut into chicken with a fork and you're going with the grain, the fork will cut right through it. But if you're against the grain, it's harder to cut the chicken. It's kind of the same way with this. If the grain is going this way, it's going to hit that all the way around. But if the grain is going with the track, it's not going to dig quite as much. So there's all kinds of different, and again, the surface is going to be changed in a couple games anyway. So you can get really intellectual with this stuff, but a lot of it doesn't matter. If you really think about it, I mean, it sounds smart to say, but it also sounds dumb to say, because people that actually know what they're doing will think it's like, well, I mean, yeah, you'll have that for like a game and a half, and then your surface will be different and it'll negate that. So fancy fun idea that doesn't actually achieve anything. All right. Which just joined. Which hustle is your favorite? Haven't thrown them yet. We'll see. I'm imagining it's probably going to be the Rip, because I really did like the ink. I like the camo. And I didn't have a wine. I think the only pearl, I don't think I've really had many pearl hustles. Had the Say and the Pro, but the original two.
POW?
The POW was a pearl, and I like that one, but that was righty. So this is my first pearl hustle in a while.
Look out.
But, yeah, bingo, bango, bongo, heck yeah. And I've got to remember now that I'm doing my new fit technique, or my new finger technique, to kind of replace the hybrid vacuum thing. So again, what I'm going to do is, the cover stocks are about 3/4 of an inch thick, so I'm going to drill down about 3/4 of an inch with the 31/32 bit, and then I'm going to drop a bit size down to 61, and then drill the rest of the hole. So that'll still get me the fit at the knuckle, the form fit down at the tip. So I like a really snug fit. I can't seem to catch the ball if I'm swimming in the grips. As some people can pick up a house ball off the rack and throw it just like they can a regular ball, and I don't understand that, because I'm frail.
Yes, princess, we know this.
Yeah. But I did go up a grip size because I was going to go up a grip size anyway, because the grips that I've been using forced me to, they fit really well. They fit really well, but they were forcing me to buzz way too much out when I was getting into it. So these fit perfect. They're a little bit too much at the tip, but once I drop down to that other bit size, it ought to be perfect. So I'm looking forward to not having to spend such a ridiculous amount of my time buzzing out grips. Instead of spending such a ridiculous amount of time buzzing out grips, because it takes longer to finish the ball after I get it off the press than it does to just put the holes in it. All right. 31 30-seconds. Now, which is my 61? Is that's one of the 30-second. Definitely don't want that one. 61. All right. I'm going to move my bits over. Actually, I need to move all. So I'm going to put this down. Actually, I'll do this. There we go. So that'll work. So, whoops. It's lined up. I have a pretty simple fit. It's a 3/8 lateral each direction, 1/8 reverse in both fingers. I do like a little bit wider bridge than normal, and part of that is because I buzz the grips out so much that I don't want to, make my bridge thinner just from all the beveling, which I'm not going to do anymore. But I do like the bridge just a little bit thicker. The spine, normally just mark either side of the spine, because the spine is 1/4 inch, and that's generally the thickness of the bridge. However, I like mine about 3/8, so it's not really that big of a deal, but it is just a little bit extra room. Loud noises. And because I've already got it set up, all I have to do is just go ahead and set this where I want it. I don't have to adjust backwards or forwards because it's going in the same place. And I already forgot what I was doing, so I probably ought to do the 61/64 bit first, so if I just get stupid and drill to China, then... Now the grips are still somewhat snug, like they don't exactly fit, so hopefully that won't screw me, piss me off. Probably will though, to be honest. Just irritating to forget what I was doing. Of course, this is the first time I've really done it, so yeah, that's still pretty snug. So I was counting on still having to buzz out a little bit at the top, but that's a whole lot closer than I've been before, and it still feels great down towards the bottom. So this is gonna save me a bunch of time and not create the forward reverse issues with wallering out so much, and then also not have so much bevel at the top to have to drill out when I go to plug these and give them away. And then I just have, whoops, 1/8 reverse in the thumb. I did drop my span to 1/16, so we're shooting for 4 9/16 on the ring finger span. Put me at 4 17/32, so that looks good. Man, William Durfee hit me up again. $5, thank you, sir, appreciate it. In addition to the Patreon money you already give me. You want me to do a trick or something?
Oh, let me help.
I don't have many tricks. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people slept on the wine. I feel the same way. I think it was actually, the camo was good, but I think the wine might have been the better one of the two. I think the rip's probably going to ultimately be the better one of these two, but again, better is relative. Handstand win. Angel can do a handstand.
I haven't.
Maybe not anymore. Maybe not anymore. She is 42 now.
I would probably be more willing to try than you would.
Mm-hmm.
I would do a handstand against the wall before I would do one just freestand.
Yeah. Do you feel SPI still has a lot of secrets to reveal for us at Expo? Yeah, I think so. I think that I've heard that they're going bigger than normal this year. They just discontinued 9 balls, so I have to think, and there's only like 6 or 7 balls in Global's lineup. Like there's nothing left. So Global's got to have a lot of stuff to drop. Roto historically drops a bunch of stuff at Expo, so I'd look for them. And then Storm has a pretty well, I don't really know what Storm would put out. They've got a pretty well-rounded, solid, they might need like a infinite physics replacement and maybe something a little bit stronger, because there's a pretty big gap between Summit Phase 2. Well, I don't know, the Fate's in there. That's kind of the Fate's a perfect step down from those two. And then the Revenant's a perfect step down from those. And the IQ Tours are kind of right there sideways from the Revenant, and then we got the High Roads, and so yeah, Storm's got a pretty stacked lineup outside of replacing the Infinite Physics. Storm's in pretty good shape. Is there ever going to be a replacement for the UFO Alert? I think that's one of the balls that Roto's gonna announce at Expo. I still think we're getting the clone because it hasn't shown up overseas. So I still think we're getting the clone. So, all right. Then I've got a very simple thumb. It's just 27 round. The politically correct term is piano hands. Always stop and remeasure, kids. This thing's crowding me here. Let's do this. That is perfect. That is also perfect. Man, split and hash marks on rulers.
Are all of these still good?
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, it's pretentious to put it on a drill sheet. Like 17, 30 seconds, I just write down plus. Most of like 4.5 plus is a lot easier to remember than exactly what 21, 30 seconds is on the ruler. I know it's 17, 30 seconds, but that's obviously easy to remember because it's just right in the middle. So it would have to be a little bit longer than a half. You've gotten extremely better at keeping secrets all of a sudden. I don't really have secrets. Oh, they've gotten extremely better at keeping secrets all of a sudden.
I think they just don't tell anybody.
Yeah, well, and so some of the overseas ball sellers have been whiffing here recently. They'll say, oh, hey, like Jonathan Wong will say, oh, hey, it's a, international only release, and then it ends up being stateside. So I think he's been tripped up a little bit. And I'm not saying anything against Wong because he charges top dollar, but he's very good at what he does. He has everything. And he doesn't intentionally mislead people. Sometimes he just doesn't have the information. And
what he can when he can, pretty much.
yeah,
He's not really
and sometimes things trip people up too. That there have been stuff that seems like it's going to be international, and then they pull it and switch it or whatever else. So there have been times where we've been told this is international, and it's like, oh well, wait, not anymore.
You have too many cats.
Huh?
You have too many cats.
Okay. All right. 1 1/8 bit to pilot the thumb.
these upstairs.
Yeah. All right, that'll be okay. I always like to make that second pass because when you pilot, I do use a different bit to pilot because it saves a little bit of wear and tear on the 1.25 inch, and then it drills a little faster. And then I like to make that second pass again just to make the cut a little truer. Oh, so one thing, if you see and this is the thing, I think there's a couple balls recently that Wong has said is going to be overseas that we're going to end up getting. If you see on the info sheet, it says 2023 catalog, that means it's stateside. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, even Storm stopped announcing stuff a few days before the release day of their other stuff too. They are learning, everybody, they are learning. Just let the stuff breathe. They always get on us for, remember, I know that everybody's excited about the new announcements, but we've got balls that are either just released or just getting ready to come out. And I'm like, that's cool, but everybody else wants to hear about the new announcements because they heard about this stuff 4 weeks ago. It's old news. And then you want to announce something new right before the last announced balls come out? That doesn't make any sense. And then get mad at us for talking about the stuff that people want to talk about. I am a representative. Customer service is the name of the game. And if somebody's asking about a certain ball, I'm not going to say, well, but yeah, that's a few weeks out yet. You really want to talk about this new ball that we've got coming out. It's like, no. People want to know about the ball they asked the question about. It's my job to answer their questions, not redirect them and try to sell them something else. Oh, yeah. perfect. Oh yeah, that ring finger's pretty well perfect. That's just going to need a little bevel at the top, and we're going to be good to roll with that. And that middle finger, again, like I said, I probably could have gone up another half size, but then it might have been just a hair or smidge too big. But either way, I think I'm going to be in good shape with that one. Now let's see if I remember to drill this one right. And yeah, and you can see the difference. This is actually hard to get in there. Got to crank this one down a whole lot further. It's going to affect my depths too. No, it shouldn't, I guess. Oh yeah, it should. A little bit, not too much. The only real problem is sometimes the cranks bottom out, and I have had them too small. If I can still crank the knobs down, it's fine. But the problem is when it's too small that you can't even clamp it in here without having to use frickin' washers or something. gotta share this with y'all. Just bird's eyeing them frickin' lines, man. Just kissing it. Now we just have to measure out right. What did we learn earlier? Always double check. That is, however, perfect and perfect. All right. Chat is going well. Yep. James Dagnab. We kind of snuck this in, and everybody. We weren't sure if I was going to be able to get on and do this tonight or not. we were streaming earlier, and the idea was that this stuff was going to show up, and that we were going to drill the stuff, but it didn't show up until like 5:15, and then we took Angel's dad to dinner tonight, and we got him right before we left for that, and so we got back at a decent enough time to go ahead and do this. So anyhow, you know if any new idols will be coming soon? I don't think so. Yeah, I expected Angel to get the M&M and you to get the Rip. She wasn't really interested in the M&M. She doesn't like purple, and this is, I know it's kind of a pinkish purple. She wasn't interested in either one of them. She's still got plenty of hustles that I think she's still got the wine down there somewhere. She's got the Hustle Hunter that she uses quite a bit. She's got several other balls in that general zone. She's got a Hyped Pearl that she doesn't throw a whole lot. And so this was something that she wasn't necessarily after. And so these are some of the ones that they don't auto ship us. They don't send us everything. They don't send us global. They don't send us HP1, HP2, or the hotline stuff. So we don't get electrifies, don't get the hustles, don't get the hypes, don't get any global stuff auto shipped. And so we've been kind of looking at it like, well, if we don't want the ball, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to buy it just to make a video for it, spend all the time and money making a video for it, just to put it back in a box and give it away. However, I've been throwing a bunch of stuff in this strength zone, and it's been a long time since I've had a Pearl Hustle. And so I wasn't going to, and I thought, you know what? I've been throwing my Hyped a lot. I've been throwing the IQ Ruby a lot. The Hype Solid. The Volt Pearl still gets a lot of action. I need to drill a new high road. I throw a bunch of kind of low-end stuff right now, and it looks really good. And so I thought I will go on ahead and get both the hustles, because I wanted the Rip, and I thought, you know what? Let's give this one a shot too. See what it looks like. So that is the explanation on that. How long is your span? My span is, I go full span. I don't do cut to cut. My full span, my full span is 4 9/16 ring finger, and 4 17/30, or 4.5 plus basically, which is 4 17/30 seconds, which I lasered, by the way. So it's at an average span, I would guess. It's not super long, it's not super short. Once again, no glue up in the cover. That's a no-no. Oh boy. That's little. This could be a... Yeah, that was a butt pucker. God, sometimes it's really rough, because if you miss the when you go to move your hands, and if you miss the transfer or slip or something, it's gonna get stuck. to do the second pass with the slug bit just to give me a little bit of extra leeway. And I was talking earlier on the stream that I did this afternoon that I need to see if Jayhawk's got a 1.257 bit, because the 1.25 is 1.25 for all you Americans that don't know the metric system. It was 1.25, but they do make a bit because turbo 1.25 bit or slugs fit very, very tight. The only reason to put glue down in the hole is for lubricant without using lubricant. So they fit very tight, and so there is a 1.257 bit that's ever so slightly bigger to give you just a little bit of extra room to where they still fit snug but are easier to get in there.
Somebody's asking about used ball prices, and as far as like the number of games, I typically don't like it more than one season. So if you think of, 30 weeks or whatever it is and 3 games a week, I wouldn't want anything used more than one season.
Yeah, 75 games is about where, and even the 50 to 75 games, that's actually quite a bit of use. And depending, we bowl in nice centers, so we can get
That's
200.
where my next comment was, is there's some like our 50 game balls. Some of them have got, like, that we've given away. It's like, this doesn't even look like it's been used 10 games.
Yeah.
But there are other centers, you use it 10 games and it looks like you've thrown it 100 games.
Yeah, because I've probably thrown my Revenant. Oh crap, I better get that off. My Revenant has probably seen the most amount of use of anything for a while now. I've probably got 50 to 75 games on my Revenant, and I just did a new freshen up on the cover. Looks brand new, still reacts great. But, I probably got that many games, 75 to 100 on my Volt Pearl. It's in great shape. But some places speed up stuff faster than other places. We're fortunate to bowl at a lot of centers where we don't really have that much problem.
No.
All we really have to do is clean stuff up. And if stuff gets a little tracked out, just, freshen the cover up, little light resurface.
Yeah.
Put it on the machine down there for 5 minutes and do the same process I did with these two to freshen the cover up. Get them back in fighting shape. Yep, the old router bit is at the perfect level of sharpness. Perfect. And let it sit there and run on top of it, and it doesn't cut the ball, but it gets the slug perfectly flush. All right, so now with my new little, this used to be the worst part of drilling, because now it'd be another 20 minutes. Sorry, Bucko. Be another 15, 20 minutes getting these things finished up.
So Jess put in Discord that after they got home tonight, they found in the mailbox the results of his last scans to see whether the treatment worked for his cancer. He is all clear.
Sweet. Sweet. The happiness mistle. You the wags and the wags. I know it was your tail, sweetie. You startled yourself. I know you don't like the phone.
Yeah.
My baby mistle.
Poor girl.
The storm dog doesn't care.
No.
All right, we've only got about 33% left on the old phone here, so I'll try to be brief. This shouldn't take too long. I don't know why this thing's not charging it. I think it's got the light now, but it's just when I picked it up it moved, but it's just not charging very fast at all.
It's not keeping up with the use.
Well, and my phone zaps so much faster now. That new update, they want me to buy ever since I got my new phone update, because they want me to buy the Galaxy S23 now, I'm sure my battery lasts about half as long as it used to, so. Shut the hell up.
We could, if you're done using the press, I could plug it into the wall. Because then I can actually charge.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
I'll be done here.
Okay.
I'll be done before the phone's done. I hope. We'll see. All right. So, again, I changed my, for those that weren't here, I changed my technique on my fingers. I used to have a lot smaller set of grips, and then I would buzz the fingers out a lot to create kind of a hybrid vacuum grip. But it was causing too many inconsistencies. It took way too long to get done. And it was adding reverse that I didn't want in there because of how much I was having to take out. So I went up a half a grip size. That's why I switched the bits on the fingers, because I started with the inch and or the 31/32, which is the standard grip bit. I went down to just beneath the cover, so about 3/4 of an inch, and then I switched to a 61/64 bit. So the grips are still, I mean, this one fits pretty well perfectly. This one's, they're both pretty well perfect fits, but still, if they fit perfectly at the knuckle, then I'm swimming a little bit further down. And so going to the smaller bit at the bottom will help with that. Plus, I don't have to buzz out the top so much that it makes it really sucky to have to drill out the bevel when I go to plug something and give it away. So I'm going ahead and finish these up and see how this all works. So. If that's all I have to do to the fingers, that's going to be amazing, because that's not all I've had to do up to this point. That will also get rid of the obnoxious reverse, the extra reverse that I absolutely do not want in these fingers. It also snugs them up at the bottom quite a bit. Ring finger is almost perfect. Middle finger is a little snug, but that's not bad. The ring finger, I always need, the middle finger is the one that really matters the most. If the ring finger is a little big, that's fine. But the ring finger, my ring finger for whatever reason is also the one that is the hardest to get in there if my hand puffs up a little bit, if I get a little warm while we're bowling. So having the ring finger a little big is you know, perfect realistically. Because it's a little big in this. This fits pretty perfect, but that, I dig that. The middle finger needs just a little bit of help, but this is so much better than it was before. So much better. Yep, same on this one. So that's going to be absolutely perfect for my ring finger. And then I'm just going to need a little bit of extra buzz on my middle fingers. So we are not complaining at all. Oh yeah. Yep, that's perfect. Perfect, perfect. Of course I say that and I'm going to glue them in and they're going to be too small. It's normally what happens. If it feels perfect before I glue them in, they end up being just a little small. That's a little snug still. That grip's a little tackier though. Buzz that out just a hair bit more. Make sure this one's, that's actually even a little big on the middle finger, so that's probably, yeah, I've got extra room to dig. So that one's perfect, that one's done. A little bit of buzz. And this is also a good trick for if you're in between grip sizes just a little bit. You don't necessarily have to change the grip size. Most of the time, what I would suggest to people is, like, if you're in between grip sizes, let me use the smaller grip. I'll just buzz the hole out a little bit more, give them a little bit more room.
As far as, somebody's got a question here as far as tournaments, light oil, and high friction houses.
A bit more.
Tournaments tend to just go where they can. Not a lot of centers anymore really want tournaments. And then the ones that do want them or willing to have them, they will charge a pretty high amount of lineage compared to what they used to. So what a tournament, say, even 5 years ago, they might have said, oh, we'll, charge you $3 a game. Now is $4 or $5 a game. And when you're looking at 5, 6, 7 games, that extra $1 or $2 adds up real fast. And then if the center's like, well, if I can only charge, $3.50 a game, I'm not going to use as much oil, or I'm not going to have as many staff on hand. They'll try and cut costs other ways. It just, unfortunately, that's kind of how it is in some areas.
I really like the way these grips fit now.
In Topeka, we have 2 centers. Lawrence has 1 center, and Kansas City has probably 12 centers. And of all of those centers, I think 5 of them want tournaments and will attempt to work with people who reach out and, hey, we'd like to have a tournament. They will work with them as far as lineage, patterns, everything. The other centers just kind of, well, and I guess I can give it to you, but it's going to cost you this, and you can only have the center for 4 hours. And it's like, I can't shove 80 people in and out of a center that fast and run a decent tournament.
Once again, flexi tips for the win. Glue, we'll start with all the insets of the grips. Once again, you only need a little bit of glue on each side. The flexi tips helps get the tip of the glue bottle down further where I need it to get to, because I don't want to glue in the cover stock.
Okay, and then Luke, for his other part of the question, it says because of the, light oil and high friction houses, he's finding his high road has been the best. So he's hoping for the hustle rip works. Is there any other tips?
I mean, that's why I use the Volt Pearl quite a bit. I mean, that's not a bad idea at all. And the Hustle Rip is going to be a little bit weaker cover strength, a little bit earlier on the core. So it's going to be a little earlier and smoother versus the High Road.
Yes. Yes, yes. Oh, shit. Okay.
I cannot find the turbo urethane green and red slugs anywhere.
Typical.
Not happy. Well, I shouldn't say. I could get them on eBay, but they're like $5.50 a piece.
That's all right.
Actually, no, $6. $5.94.
Now we do the outside of the grip and just push it down flush. Sorry, I need to show you better, but I need the light. Once again, if you glue in your own grips or anything, Turbo Slow Zip is the best by a long shot because it never lets go. The other stuff locks up instantly, and so it can be hard to get the grip where you want it. And then it ends up being brittle. I've never had a grip come out using Slow Zip. It gives you a few seconds before it locks up, so it lets you set the grip exactly where you want to set it. It's thicker, so it's not so runny. You can control the amount that you get in there better. There's just a million different reasons why this stuff is the best. Watch move. Now this is going infinitely faster than my fingers have gone before.
Here's the puppies.
Oh yeah, boy, that's amazing. I really like the way that fits. Feels like warm apple pie. We'll have to explain that reference to Brett later.
Oh my god. James, if you're still listening, I made all of the faces.
Yeah, man. Yep, that feels good. I really like my new fit system. here. Hopefully it feels just as good in the morning. All right. Now I got my handy dandy roto tool that's not corded. And part of the benefit of this is that this goes higher speed, but I can also keep newer pads on this one so that I can do the heavy lifting, getting material out on the fingers. But this, I can use older pads to bevel the thumb. It's a slower speed, so I have a little bit more control over the thumb bevel. So that looks like, the amount of time I spent on that looks like I would have beveled them out quite a bit more than I actually did. I'll show you here in a second. A little bit of a oh yeah, perfect.
If y'all can hear me on the mic, I have 3 dogs in front of me.
Tissue scratches.
All right. All right. We are done ski here. Actually, I need to put a, man, that feels good. Pow, 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 boom, pow. Just need to put a piece of tape. Each need a piece of black in the back. God, I hate storm tape. I mean, actually, I love it. It's amazing. It's definitely not way too thin and flimsy, and when you pull it out, it doesn't leave a bunch of gunk and sticky residue, and it doesn't disintegrate when you try to take it out. And
To be fair, I don't have that problem with the white tape.
damn it. Huh?
I said, to be fair, I do not have that
No,
problem.
the white's fine. The black tape's terrible.
I don't use black tape.
To be fair, I could probably use turbo tape. Or, to be fair, I could just do it like everybody else does and use whatever tape I want. Did I say that out loud? Oops. We all have clauses in our contracts that say if Storm makes a certain product, that we're required to use that product instead of a competing product. If Storm does not make a product, then we're free to pretty well use what we want to use as long as it's not from a directly competing brand. So if Storm didn't make tape, for example, I could just use turbo tape. But Storm makes tape. And because I follow the rules, I use our tape. It sucks and it pisses me off, but I follow the rules because that's what's most important.
Oh my goodness.
All right, that feels amazing. The middle finger. No, they're just a little smidge too big right at the moment, but they feel kind of like these. I think my hand's actually shrinking a little bit at the moment. Yep, feels like warm apple pie.
I'm gonna hurt you.
So, I have re-slugged 10 balls today. Done a real bang-up job on this Black Widow Ghost, let me tell you what. For those that didn't see it earlier, it looked amazing when I cut it, or it looked amazing, the pour looked amazing, and then the Ring of Death. You can see the center looks amazing. And it cleaned up real good. The center looks like the rest of the ball, but unfortunately, whenever you have a ball that's this bright and pearlescent, you're not gonna get away with not having a red Ring of Death or just a Ring of Death. And the vast majority of that's coming right back out anyway, so. So take a look at the bowling balls now that they're done. If they don't look like this when you get them back from your pro shop, you probably ought to find another pro shop. You need to get a little bit of the, let's see down at the very bottom, I got some of the scraps left over from the breaking through the bottom of the slug. Number one, this is something that your shop should always do. If they do not bottom out, if you use slugs and they don't bottom out the slug, that's a problem. Always have to drill through the slug because then you can, that's why this vent hole, the little hole right there, that's to vent the hole. So if they don't drill all the way through the slug, the hole does not get vented. I think that one's fine down there. So, if you use a slug, you have to drill all the way through the slug. I think most people use interchangeables. Now, I'd be interested to see, I might actually put a poll on YouTube. That'd be interesting. I need that back.
Oh, I thought you were selling everybody goodbye.
No, well, I am, but I need to, I was going to show them something before I realized I needed to get all this chunk out of the bottom of the hole.
Oh, sorry.
MICKEYMOUSC, the Mickey Mouse show or whatever way back in the day, and that's how they signed off.
Yeah, I guess as long as you're not
Yeah.
singing the Barney song.
Yeah.
Do you know the Barney song?
I know the I love you, you love me, we're happy. Well,
No.
when shots rang out, Barney hit the floor, no more purple dinosaur.
You know what? I'm gonna go get a pickle out of the fridge.
All right, so
New poll. Who wants to see Luke eat a pickle before we get
Yeah.
off the stream?
if your bowling balls don't look like this, when your shop gets done with them, you probably need a new shop because these grips are perfectly flush without cutting. You want to see bevel like that to prevent cracking. You see, it's not too generous,
You want to see him eat a
but
pickle?
it's nice and smooth.
Are you voting for the pickle?
You don't want to see glue up in the cover stock, so you should be able to pull the grips away from the sides like this. But they're not going anywhere. Same thing over here. The grips are nice and flush with the top of the ball. See the nice cut. You can even see the discoloration there from the router bit. It's hard to see with the light shining on it. I really don't have a whole lot of bevel there, just enough to take the edge off the top. Same with that one. So this is what to toot my own horn, because I may not be good at bowling, but I'm really good at this. This is what a professionally drilled bowling ball should look like. I said what I said, and I'll stand by it to the death. So, we're going to go out and film for these in the morning. We're going to go shoot 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, so I ought to have cuts up at some point tomorrow. We are going to buy fireworks tomorrow. It's pretty cool. The cover has a little sharpening tool for the grease pencil here. And then a nice fancy protector sleeve. That's an amazing tool for those of you pro shop people out there who might want it. You're gonna hustle down to the lanes to film tomorrow? Sure, why not? I like my new technique. These feel amazing. Backing off just dropping the 16th on the span feels amazing. Once again, you need to get your span, your general fit checked every 1 to 2 years, because as you do, again, get older, gain weight, lose weight, whatever else, your body changes. And just because your fit was right doesn't mean that it's going to stay exactly the same. So you want to get it checked every once in a while. So just having to drop a 16th of an inch off the span, it's a minor change, but it's enough to where, I'm, not getting caught on the way out anymore. Even just the slightest of hiccups or whatever, it's back to feeling amazing. And then again, I changed the procedure for my fingers, and those very quick, they feel great. So, even somebody like me tinkers every once in a while. So thanks everybody for hanging out and watching. Thanks Mr. Durfee again for the donation. It's appreciated. Thanks if you were here for both streams today. Thank you. I'll have cuts for these balls up. For the channel members, I'll have the cuts up at some point tomorrow, hopefully. I still have more Summit videos coming. I've got to get these reviews out now too, because they come out not this. Friday is, they come out the 23rd. So yeah, they come out Friday. So hopefully I will have the reviews done by Friday, but I have plenty of Summit stuff to get out. And if nothing else, I will have a live stream next Friday to do some comparisons and stuff, or just to, kind of kick off release day for the balls. But that's kind of all I know for right now, I think. So, come here, Bucko. Buddy? Come here. Come here. Come on. Storm dog. Come here, you circus animal. Oh, the buddies. Oh, the buddies. Oh, yes, the Bucko. The Bucko. Oh, God. We have a husky.
Yeah. Big, soft. There you go.
Come here, Tweety Bird. Hi, Tweety Bird. I know. You're the sweetie, Tweety. Oh, stretch it out. Can pick. Oh, okay. Off. Up. Pickles. Aspen. Aspen. Come here. Come here, Piggy. Oh, come here. Aspen. Aspen. Come here, Piggy. I know. Aspen. 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 Come here. Yeah, she's going to love that. Oh, good pickles. Uh-huh. Yep, you're super happy with this, aren't you?
Storm, stop.
You say bye, Piggy. I know, you violent little marshmallow. All right, so anyway, thanks everybody. We will, yeah, poor Piggy. It just... Yeah, she really loves it. As soon as I put her back, she doesn't look like she likes it when I pick her up, but as soon as I put her back down, she revs up. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for hanging out. This was the Rip and the M&M. And yeah, we'll see you next time.